Good morning, everybody. There were many dramatic moments during our war for independence, and one of those happened on this date, October 2, in 1790, when Major John Andre was hanged for being a British spy. Huguenots are French Protestants, and this map shows all the places Huguenots fled to during times of religious persecution in France, and that included England. So many Huguenot families moved to England, including the Andres, and here's John Andre himself. Originally, his family was from France, and then they moved to England. And when he was 20, he joined the British Army, became a redcoat. Over the years, made his way up the ranks. And early on in the Revolutionary War, there was an invasion of Canada. Benedict Arnold led an invasion. Interesting that he's involved at this point. And Major Andre gets captured near Quebec. And he's under arrest in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. But he's able to move freely because he promised he wouldn't escape. And later went back to the British Army as part of a prisoner exchange and was involved in the fighting near Philadelphia. So on this map you can see Germantown, Brandywine. These are all battles in the Philly area. You can see Valley Forge. So this was the part of the war that John Andre was involved in. And while in Philadelphia, he was quite a guy. He was very sociable. He could speak many languages. People really liked him. He had a lot of social graces. And while in Philadelphia, lived in Benjamin Franklin's house, pictured here. He was here for, I think, 8 or 9 months, so that's kind of a neat story. But he ended up moving on. Meanwhile, Benedict Arnold is starting to contemplate treason. This is a fascinating story in our country's history, but most people think Arnold felt unappreciated. At the Battle of Saratoga, pictured here, big win for us. One of the reasons the French helped us is because we won at Saratoga. Benedict Arnold never really felt appreciated for that. He also had some money problems. And his wife, Peggy Shippen, was a loyalist. So she became the courier, or the go-between, between Benedict Arnold and the Brits. And the big prize that Benedict Arnold held out for Britain was West Point. So here's an aerial view of West Point right on the Hudson River. And Benedict Arnold was in a position to hand over West Point, so to speak, because he was its superintendent. So a lot of the action of the story is on the Hudson, West Point at the top. Toward the bottom you see Tarrytown. At the very bottom you see Tappan. Tappan was where Major Andre was executed. Tarrytown is where he was captured. There's lots of coming and going along the Hudson there, and this ship, the Vulture, a frigate, was used by Major Andre to go up and down the river, and later used by Benedict Arnold to make his escape. So eventually the treason was found out. Benedict Arnold had given Andre papers, which he put in his boot. He was captured by 3 militiamen, but they weren't sure what to do with him at first because Benedict Arnold wasn't known to be a traitor. But when they figured it out, Washington sent orders that Arnold be arrested. But Arnold had gotten wind of Andre's capture and was able to get out to the Vulture, which was on the Hudson. Here's Arnold making his escape. He eventually made it down to New York City, which was in British hands, and then from there to England. Well, meanwhile, John Andre is tried. Here you can see the court. Various army officers are there. And one thing that was on the mind of the court was that the British had executed Nathan Hale a few years before. Here's Hale's marker in Connecticut. So there's a sense that, well, you executed Hale, we're going to execute Andre, and that's what happened on this date. October 2, 1790, John Andre was executed. Here's the marker where that is. And then also in that same area, you can see the sign where he was captured. A lot of this is commuter rail from New York City up along the Hudson. It's pretty easy to visit. And if you're ever in London and you're in Westminster Abbey, you can check out where Major Andre is today. His body was moved there in the early 1800s. Part of the story of our Revolutionary War.